good morning, everybody. That's true. I was an economist and a finance person by trade. I'm obsessed with technology, and I left the finance game a long time ago. And you'll probably get a feel for that as I start going through the presentation here today. So let me just start for a moment. So let me just tell you a little bit about Faro briefly, and then I've taken a slightly different approach to the presentation today. I'm going to spend all of my time on where we really are obsessed, which is changing the way we capture and collect and get the data that's being used in this industry, and we are obsessed with that, and that's my one focal point today. So Faro, for those who don't really know who we are, we're the world's most trusted source for 3D measurement, imaging, and realization technology. So that's where we play. As a company, we've been in business for about 35 years now. We actually started in the manufacturing side, improving manufacturing efficiencies, comparing parts against their CAD models, and we have morphed that into the geospatial space, and we've been in geospatial now for roughly 10 years through a small acquisition we did to get ourselves started in that space back in 2005. And as a company, we see ourselves as the disruptive innovators. We spent a lot of time thinking about how do we do things differently day in and day out, and how do we transform the spaces that we're in, and that's in all aspects of our business. And the easiest way to put it is when I sit with the Faro team and we talk about what we're doing, I take this image and I say, be the zebra in the middle. That's how we think of ourselves. Now the team often gets a chuckle out of the fact that, couldn't you pick 4 that are backwards and 1 that's frontward? No, we're going to be the one that's in the middle. I'm okay with that, and that's how we approach business at Faro. So I was thinking about what I wanted to discuss today. So in terms of emerging trends, the one that we are highly focused on is this, the point cloud. So not the cloud, we spend plenty of time there as a company. This is all about point clouds and capturing more efficiently the data that's used day in and day out in the industries that are served here. And for us, it's all about simplicity, portability, and accessibility. So that becomes part of the disruption is how do we ensure we're doing that for the world? So if we start with the simplicity side, this one is first and foremost and cannot be done. This is not possible if it's not simple. You have to take the complex, which all of you work in a complex world, and turn it into the simplest math equation from kindergarten or grade 1. And so simplicity for Faro starts with something really easy. Take both of our hardware devices, one touch. I'm going to collect millions and millions and millions of data points in a single shot. I want to be able to do it with one touch. Not just with the hardware, but I want to be able to do it simplistically with the software as well. So for us, and I've chosen several examples just to give you a feel for what we're able to do with the technology today. The first one is an offshore drilling platform in India. You can see the photograph here of the platform itself. This is the point cloud that was created from the laser scanner. That's a single scan. It's a flat image of it, but you can see the amount of data and complexity that you can pick up in a single scan, all of which is captured at 1 to 2 millimeters of accuracy with that kind of data density. And in this particular project, the beauty for the customer was they could scan the platform. They could then take their CAD design and perfectly fit the CAD design into the point cloud to know that all of the work they're going to do is going to fit in the existing structure that is there. And so for this particular customer, which was installing new pumps and replacing all their high-pressure drill piping, they did 2.5 days worth of scans, but it saved them $35 million because they were able to fabricate all of the vessels, all of the welds onshore and bring it to the platform instead of having a team of people on the platform doing all the welds manually and trying to purposely fit through the piping as they went and sort of moving on the fly. Here's another example we like to show because everybody recognizes the image here. This is, of course, the Tower Bridge, and you see the Faro laser scanner in the foreground there. And again, for simplicity's sake, one touch, that's the first scan that you get from the laser scanner. So roughly 300 meters of distance between the scanner and the Tower Bridge. That's the first scan. We did another one underneath. We did another one on the other side to pick up the data. That, again, is the point cloud itself, full color. All at 1 to 2 millimeters of accuracy. And so in this case, we were able to create a full 3-dimensional model of the Tower Bridge in roughly an hour, and it was only 3 scans. Most of the time was spent actually walking from point A to point B to point C. So again, the power of the technology and what we do. So then you say, okay, well, portability is important. If you're going to have to walk around place to place, we want to make sure that this is something easy to take with you wherever you go. And so how do we ensure that this is maneuverable by anybody, anytime, wherever they want to take the device? And I love this example. It's a historical preservation example. It's the Sukhov radio tower in Russia. I think it's about 90 plus years old now. So here goes the engineer. with a single laser scanner. There's the scanner. He's literally climbing with it attached to his belt up the lattice work. Gets to the top. There's the scanner again, sets it up, and takes a series of scans from the top, from the bottom, from the sides. So in this case, you can see the amount of data that was captured in multiple scans. You can get it from your profile view, your top view. You're able to take it and export it to CAD and then do surface finishing and cleaning from there. And in this particular case, this 90-year-old tower was able to collect 1 billion 3D data points in 3 days so that they could have that data if there's any issue ever with that facility or with that structure that needs to be addressed in the future. And then the final piece, again, the disruptive side is accessibility. And accessibility, plain and simple, is how do we make sure everybody can afford it? And we're still really only scratching the surface there. So how do we make this available to the masses so that everybody can play with it? And in January of this year, we took the large volume scanner and said, let's get ourselves down into something that's handheld that you could easily use in close range at a much lower price point. Do we have a device or do we have the way to go in and capture point clouds in a tight facility with the same level of accuracy and being able to have the same level of detail after you're completed with the project? And so in this case, what we wanted to do was create a device that literally did just that. Small enough that it can be held in a suitcase, powered by a Microsoft Surface tablet. All of the data is collected real time. You can visualize and watch it real time as you're collecting. And again, something you can take anywhere you want to in the field. Bring it back to the office and have the same power in the office to manipulate and use the data and the point cloud that was created for your 3D modeling work or whatever purpose you have for that particular device. So, or that particular project. So in this case, the ability to capture an 8 cubic meter space in about 20 minutes and create all of that same level of detail of all the vessels and the piping that's in there. And then the final example I'll give today, I don't know if we have anyone from law enforcement here, but we have started spending a lot more time in law enforcement. The last couple of acquisitions I've done on the software side have been purely focused on law enforcement. And the same idea, the ability to get to a crime scene or to an accident scene and to rapidly and accurately and more quickly and thoroughly collect all the data that's needed in those examples, in this case using, again, the handheld device, and being able to collect in a matter of 10 minutes that kind of 3D model of a vehicle that's been involved in an incident. So all of that data was collected full color in 10 minutes using the handheld scanner. And so again, for us, we look at that as an opportunity to say, you know, your data is secured permanently. You can get in and out of a crime scene more rapidly. You always have the data from the crime scene. You always have the ability to get the data you need from a car accident and be able to determine the cause, the crumple zones, the impact, to get officers out of harm's way more rapidly, off the highway, out of the accident scene, and get traffic flowing again, things like that. So for us, it's all about, like I said, portability, accessibility, and simplicity. I wanted to focus the conversation on just 2 devices that we have in our portfolio and how we do that, how they're changing the way people think about collecting data from their traditional methods to more contemporary methods, and at price points that are easily accessible to virtually any size firm around the world.